All right. I'd like to welcome everyone to the Special Fire Commission meeting, January 7th. Stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Moments of silence. Anyone to recognize?
Tulio passed away.
Who was it?
Tulio boy, no.
Observe a moment of silence. We now return to our normally scheduled program. Casey, can you clarify how many members are on this commission?
Right now actively 4.
Okay, so we're a quorum.
We are a quorum.
Okay, and Todd is the fourth.
Todd is the 4th, but they have not made any appointments or reappointments for Todd or Fred yet, so they are still active until
Okay.
it's changed.
You can't expire.
4. So who's missing?
Todd.
Todd is missing. Who's the 4th? Who's the 5th?
It was Rich, but they removed Rich when he was resigned his son.
Because he's actually still listed as active. From the town's website.
Yes, I think Dan was looking into possibly bringing him back. I'm not 100% sure.
And he was interested in it. He
Yeah,
said he wanted
so
to.
I think it's something that he would have to reappoint him, I guess. Because he was the selectman member, now he would just be a regular.
So regardless, we have a quorum.
Yes.
What, 5? Okay. Before we do public comment, I just want to read the town's policy on freedom of information meeting policy. This is an annual thing. While a meeting is in session, the following protocol should be followed. Personal devices should not be used to communicate through any means, including text message, email, instant message, social media post, or conversation. An exception will be made if the device is being used as part of the meeting session, i.e. a member is participating in the meeting via phone conference. If there is a need to communicate regarding personal business during the meeting, the member should excuse himself or herself from the meeting and exit the meeting room or request the chair to move for a meeting recess. Any conversations by members or questions should be addressed to and through the chair. Talking, asking another member a question, or whispering any comments to another member should not take place. At public meetings, the public generally expects the business being conducted as public business pursuant to the Freedom of Information Act, General Statute 1-200, as amended FOI Act. The public has a right to know what public officials say at public meetings on topics related to the public's business, unless such statements are made during a proper executive session or are otherwise exempt from disclosure under the FOI Act. Failure to adhere to the business of the meeting and or the aforementioned protocols could subject public officials to an FOI request requiring the disclosure of information that may be sensitive or inappropriate for public knowledge. In addition, a subsequent proceeding could be commenced with the FOI Commission, which may result in a significant expenditure of time and resources, a fine, board or commission actions being set aside, etc. Thank you, and please keep the above in mind at all times while participating in a board or commission. I'll give you this if you want to enter it into the documents for the meeting. All right, to our business for today. The activity for this evening is to discuss the budgets and move them over to the controller for submission to the Board of Finance and the Board of Select. So who wants to go first? Anyone want to take a crack at first? Okay, so let's we'll start with Stony Hill. All right, everybody has a copy of the Stony Hill budget. And one thing we did get, Casey, and what you shared with me prior to the meeting is that there's some items in the Bethel budget that Brad has suggested could go to capital non-recurring. We should probably have him apply that same filter to the Stony Hill request as well. And whatever we can move over, we can do that. So, 30,000 foot view, looks around like around a 20% increase, being requested. With various increases across different line items. 25% in equipment supplies, 39% in maintenance, 19% in vehicle maintenance, and then the other two sections are flat. So if we want to dive in and take a look at what we have on equipment and supplies. I think actually pagers might be one of the things that's Brad move. No, we didn't. Okay. Sorry. So I'll open the discussion to comments about individual line items. Hose replacement, I had a question on, and that's not all hose. That's whatever's expired. And that's a variety of sizes. I think we talked about it at the last meeting. It's a
Yes.
variety of sizes.
Yes. Is it expired or currently expiring?
It's expired. It's no good.
By a lot.
It's 51 years old.
So it's a long-term miss that we've had on
Yes.
replacing it. So
Yes.
this isn't an annual expense. It hasn't been done for 30 years.
Is there an actual expiration on hose, or is it just when it fails, it's at service?
There's a
What is it?
1985,
What's the?
35 years old. I'm sorry, 35. So,
So we missed
they
it by
signed
20.
extensive host test I did in the last month. The companies won't test anything over 35, and they give you disclaimer if they run across it, and they won't test it.
Sounds like that's a must-have. Is this an estimate on price, or is this?
that's
pretty close. Okay.
I did get quotes on hose though.
Mhm.
Based off of that, that's the rough number that it is.
Okay. And then you have gear going up. We've put gear in the long-term capital plan when we did that last year, although the Board of Finance is not working off that long-term capital plan, but we put gear in there every year, I think, at a increasing rate. Yep. We did 8 sets in 25, 26 at 40,000. We increased it to 41,000 this year.
Bethel and the Stony Hill numbers are quite different. Is that apples to apples, we think, or?
Well, there's been discussion on that year over year about what's included in it because they were being budgeted differently. Some including hoods, some including gloves, some not, some helmets, some not. We tried to homogenize it so it would be easy to understand, but I don't think we've succeeded there yet. So Doug, what are you using as your cost per set? And how many sets is this?
It's I didn't bring that. I think I can tell you what the quote is. 52. Can I look on my phone?
Yeah, of course.
You just can't communicate.
You can't communicate. You're allowed to look stuff up.
So I'm a little confused, Mr. Chairman. We did all that work with the capital. We put all this stuff in the capital. And so are we not funding this stuff through the capital? Are we putting it back into the operating budget?
Back
So
in the
not-
operating budget.
So all that work we did on the capital was for not?
Yep.
So nothing in the capital is in the capital?
Well, we still have the open question about, okay, we did this great plan, right?
Yeah.
We collectively spent a ton of time on this.
Right.
And there's stuff coming up in this year that presumably should be talked about, right? And be funded.
Well, I mean, just as an example, I know we put all the apparatus in there for tire replacements. And I know Bethel spent like a little over $6,000 out of their operating budget this year on tires.
Right.
I mean, that's $6,000, whatever it was, should have theoretically come out of the capital.
Right, yeah,
Because we
because
budgeted for it in the capital, not in their operating budget.
I 100%
Well, I
agree.
mean, it just makes
There's
it
a
kind of
disconnect.
difficult to prepare a proper budget.
It does.
If, we're figuring that there's $6,000 that's gonna be encumbered through the capital, and it doesn't wind up being encumbered in the capital, winds up being encumbered in the operating budget.
Right.
It takes a
but-
shortfall someplace else, and it's,
So the real problem is like Stony Hills for tires and batteries says move to capital.
Bethel's, I mean, I
So,
don't.
I mean, how do you?
But I think, so I
Do we
think
have
the,
to- I mean,
that problem with the operating budget versus capital budget, that was during Chris's tenure, not Bill's, right? And then that was always, we talked about get that recategorized in the board of finance, and it never happened. That's my memory of it.
No, I think Bill actually had you had an expenditure this year for tires, was it? It was like $6,000 or something.
And the other thing, this was the car.
That and air bottles we did too.
Yeah.
And the price on it here is, $4,554.34, and that's without any cost increases.
For Coke.
And that's Coke and pants, that's it.
And that's how many sets?
That's 1.7 here.
No, I know the 50,000 you're requesting is.
Do the math.
Let's do the math, by 4,500.
11 and change.
11 cents.
But we had previously come to 8 sets per department, right? We were gonna, again, homogenize that, make it 8 sets per department per year, over and over.
And the reason why I got more in there this year is I have 9 people currently in Fire One right now.
Mhm.
And every one of them need a set of gear.
Fair. Now, where else do you have helmets, gloves, helmets? And that's the other thing, is you budget gloves, helmets, and hoods
It's
separate.
above it. It's the line I have above it for 5,000.
And what are you using there for, like, per person? And obviously, you're gonna have wear items in there for your active members
Gloves, I can
too.
tell you right now, I just ordered 12 pairs of gloves for $1,800. And I don't know what the cost is for a helmet. A pair set of boots is $400 something.
And I help you, I have prices. The helmets are 400, the boots are 500.
And I know that doesn't equal
That's on,
the 12 set or 11 sets of gear, but I have spare boots in the back and
So that would be more like the accessories for 5 sets of gear versus 11 sets of gear, right?
we have stuff kicking around that we're reusing.
Any further discussion on gear? Thoughts on leaving it as requested or adjusting?
Should adjust it because it's 20% an actual increase that's gonna fly, or is somebody else gonna just adjust it for us?
I mean, my concern with the equipment and supplies account is somewhere there's a lot of fluff. Because somehow you were able to encumber $13,500 for an extra car last year that wasn't budgeted. And that came out of your equipment and supplies budget. So you had $13,500 worth of fluff in last year's budget. You're asking for a 21% increase in this year's in the equipment and supplies. So that leads me to believe that there's a whole lot of fluff in that account somewhere. So something leads me to believe that something needs to be drastically adjusted.
When we look at the other number, if that's what they requested for the current year budget, the previous year budget, but what was spent actually doing
What was spent?
that? The budget completely spent,
Yeah, they spent them right down to zero, pretty much.
is it all in June?
I think I think I looked in May, they had like 61% still left.
And it's went into zero.
Not zero, but close.
So. I think if we said 8 sets of gear, then we should just stick to 8 sets of gear.
I think we put in 8 last year and the Board of Finance cut it to 7, didn't they?
I think they did cut it.
They cut 1 set
Yeah.
from each department, I believe.
Mhm.
I mean, I understand Doug's concern. He says he's got 9 guys in Fire One that, and none of them have gear. I mean, that's a problem.
Oh, you could
So
always,
I don't know that that's the place to cut it. I mean, if you have 9 guys that you're turning into firefighters, you need to have firefighting turnout gear.
But you think there's extra money. you can
yeah,
buy
but
gear.
if there's extra money somewhere, it can come from
Right.
a different line.
9's an exception.
Right, we should find where the extra money is and cut that, not, don't cut the line where you know that that's a known expense that you're gonna have.
Just because.
Cut the fluff, not the,
But even if we cut, just because we cut a line doesn't mean during the budget year, if they're short, they can't change things. Obviously.
right, no,
If you want to buy a car, you can find a way to buy a car or something else, right? I mean, that's.
right, but my point is if he has a known he needs 9 sets of turnout gear, he knows that. Right now, he needs 9, and he has a firm quote on the cost of gear. We shouldn't reduce that.
But you've seen our gear, right? That we 30 sets of other gear down there for probies and people in classes. I don't know. I don't want, whatever.
Yeah,
I just think if we say, look, 8's the thing we're using for both departments to do their budgets, then. I don't know.
Those are really between the gear and the hose. That's really what's driving the
Right.
increase in this line, in this gap, this.
I would cut it from 11 to 9.
All right.
He says he's got 9 people in class, and of those 9, none of them have gear. That's a true statement.
Yeah, it's a true statement.
And so,
They have gear, but it's going out of date.
Right, so they're not gonna be able to go through their live burn
They're
scenario.
gonna go through the live burn in 2 weeks, but they're gonna be using somebody else's gear.
Yeah, I mean, I
Somehow in the future, we have to be proactive enough to have enough gear for members that join. How do you get ahead of the 8 ball here? And you got hose that's 51 years old suddenly and.
I don't know. I mean, years ago, we used to have a cap on the membership.
We have plenty of
When you and
gear.
I joined the department, it was, I think it was like 65 members. Now they got well over 100 members in Bethel.
That was back when there were horses. We paid for horse food, not tire.
Four horses.
I mean,
I know.
I don't-
But now but also like, you shuffle gear down, right? One gear goes to the
Right.
senior
Tech,
people,
whatever.
and and then the other stuff shuffles down. So it's not necessarily bad gear. It's lightly used, right? But not bad.
Right, but it has expiration dates. And you like to think that if you're putting people through a Fire One class, that these are gonna be active guys and they're gonna
Yeah.
see fire at some point, which, they have to have
Right.
current gear at that point, if we send somebody, that's certified into a fire with expired gear and they get burned, that's a problem.
Do we know the expiration of fire gear? How many years?
Yes,
What is it?
10 years.
10 years.
Whether it's been used or not, it can be folded in the bag brand new.
Somehow we have to get ahead of a 10-year replacement cycle, right?
We thought we
And that's the whole
we thought we
idea.
were
That was
doing
the
it by
aim.
buying
That was
the
the
accessory
aim.
gear.
Per year, yeah.
That's the aim of the whole commission, basically, right?
And at some point, I think the chiefs went a little wild and they started issuing 2 sets to a bunch of people. I think that kind of stopped. We really haven't even got the funds to maintain that.
They don't.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to address this turnout gear issue. But we're being, controlled not by the needs of the fire company. We're being controlled by the NFPA standards here. So the proactive way to control the costs is here would be to buy when needed, as opposed to buy and like put it on the shelf for potential use. Because you are completely handcuffed by that 10-year limit.
Mhm.
Here, you know, now there's a limit on rescue equipment, there's a limit on hose, etc. So let's say we collectively bought 20 sets of gear and we handed out 12 of those sets and we hung 8 in the closet for future use. Every day that clock ticks reduces the effective cost on what we spent on that gear because it has that time frame on it. So what most departments are doing now is what the chief here has proposed. Buying it when he needs it, so you get a longer lifespan out of the gear. And unfortunately, commissioners, chief, we don't control that anymore. It's controlled by national standards. So I see what position he's in there. I've asked for a reduced amount of gear. We need it. Oh, but he's in a bad way. I see the 9 students. Yeah, I teach them. I have 6. And I wish there was some way to get around these standards, but there's not. The only thing that those standards allow you to do here is you can use them for juniors and probationary members, as long as they're not in an ideal age atmosphere. So they hit the ideal age. As Chief Ingram just said, like the librarian, they gotta have gear. So we're in a bad way here. We have such a limited period of time that our equipment can be used.
Sure.
And this is where we're at here. I understand where he's coming from. I understand where you guys are coming from.
Yeah. I mean, so, you know,
Can't control
9 sets of gear is great, but do we know what's going to go offline this year, right? You know, that's the other problem.
Well, I can address that. Another thing that just came up in the last month was the fact that, you know, everyone's worried about the PFAS laden gear. And now we found out that that's in the moisture barrier.
Mhm.
Now we found out that the substitute moisture barrier gear has a high content of bromine in it, and it's tested out to be worse than the PFAS. So a lot of people had bought the new moisture barrier, quote, PFAS free gear, only to find out that the chemicals they use to substitute for the PFAS is bromine, and it turns out that it's tested to be a higher carcinogenic rate than the PFAS. So now what do you do? Well, I asked some of the national people on national boards that I know, what do you guys recommend? And they recommend, and they said, well, the lesser of 2 evils is to buy the PFAS stuff again. What do you do?
Right.
So there's so many arrows being shot, you know.
Hey, I think at the end of the day, right, you know, we want to make sure everyone's safe and everyone's got adequate gear and good gear, and we don't crush the town on budget. Still, what it comes down to, right?
And just
Of course.
figure my 2 cents. So this is always right. It's always been an issue for years. The issue when I was chief, when Kenny was chief, going back 10, 15 years, was always try to maintain 5, 6 sets of gear every year. Right? They tried to put it a couple times, take it out of our operating budget and put it in a capital plan. We kind of fought that because we were afraid that that capital money would never come to fruition, right? That
Mhm.
capital non-recurring would never.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's where we tried to
So
put
we
it
kind of
too.
put it back in there.
Right.
But if we end up with a large increase for some reason, until we have more members, maybe you do take some of that increase and put it,
Push it over there. Yep.
put it into the capital non-recurring.
Mhm.
So that your operating budget, right, that the town votes on.
Yeah.
Is maintained, and then we have those one-offs, with the 1 or 2 million that the town only sets aside for capital stuff,
Mhm.
and just make sure it can get put in there.
And honestly, it's a good problem to have,
In there.
right? It's a good problem to have. If you have so many new members
Yeah.
that need that gear, it's a good problem to
I
have.
mean, that's.
Yeah, I didn't even put it here is air packs, which is on the capital plan for this upcoming year.
Mhm.
And we have, I haven't gotten the report back from AAA yet, but we have 6 or 7 air packs that are no good for the new standard. And I didn't even add that onto the, operating budget, because that,
Yeah, it's in the capital plan,
It's in the
60
capital
grand a
plan.
year,
yeah,
starting in 27, 28.
yeah. And I figured that would be a whole nother topic to bring up next week in the regular meeting.
Okay. Where do we want to go with what's shown here in equipment and supplies? Do we want to skim it down to 9? To match the members?
I would be buying it as Chief McAllister said for their need.
Yep. Right, thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. If he's saying he has a need right now for 9, then I would say, fine.
Well. But now the other side of it is the gloves and helmets and boots number is low.
But he said he has that.
So you have that in stock.
Have you bought turnout gear out of the current operating budget?
Current operating budget, yes,
So you've already spent that money.
yes.
So you're actually in the hole 9 sets before July. I mean, this budget's not gonna take effect until July. So you have from now until July before you can even buy those 9 sets a year.
Well, even if I ordered it right now, I wouldn't get it. It wouldn't
Get it,
fly.
right.
I mean, in reality, we know that come July, he's gonna need more than 9.
And he'll find a way. There'll be money. But if we don't cut it to 9, then the Board of Finance or the Board of Selectmen might cut it to 7.
Oh, yeah, I mean, we already know, we put in for 8 last year and they cut it to 7 in both
Right.
departments.
So at least we're.
That's, I mean, I
At least we can.
I
say-
know if we put in for 11, they're gonna,
Right,
they're just gonna,
well, everybody's gonna see it, that he said he has the need for 9.
at least if you put in for 9, you can say, well, you know, you cut me 1 last year, I gotta get that up, I gotta get that set back.
Yeah, that 8 plus 1 would be 9.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure that's the place to cut, but I mean, I guess going from 11 to 9 is it's someplace to start.
Mhm.
Like I said, I don't know, it just kind of blew my mind when, you know, you were able to find $13,500 to buy a car last year that was not budgeted for.
What's the total on 9 there, Doug?
I'm working on it right now. $40,989.6.
40,989?
Yep.
So it's really only a $150 increase over last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense. You're getting 9 cents versus 7 cents for $150 more. Better check your math, I think.
Yeah.
Hold on a second.
We're using a different vendor now, right?
We did price shop that last year too,
Yeah.
I mean, he said 4,500.
Yeah, I did.
So,
Yeah.
right? So this is using the new price
This
shop
is the
number, which
new-
was
yeah.
less than
What was,
the original quote.
yeah.
Yeah. So I'd make a motion, we take what is proposed is 50,850 and make it 41,000.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any discussion on hose?
Did half the hose this year, half the hose next year, just like.
I mean, what,
To me, it seems like it's.
$10,000 worth of hose, what are we getting for $10,000? Is it 5-inch? Is it
3-inch.
3-inch?
And it's 2.5.
Are we actually using 3-inch for anything anymore?
They want to use it on the back engine 3 for the blitz line. And I think that's where it's bad is on that truck. I should have brought the report for the hose with me.
And that wasn't the 2 inch you were buying?
We just bought 2 inch from last year's budget. That we put on truck 4 and engine 3.
Just seems like it's already 25 years out of date. Somebody let it slide a long time.
Mhm.
Why do it all in 1 year? Unless it's something that's really necessary, like a hose that the only 3 inch hose you have. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to be a penny pincher, but 20% is not gonna fly past the other boards. I know.
It's actually 20, well, I guess it's closer to 20 now. We just took 9,000 out.
Yeah.
Motion?
I would recommend replacing half the hose this year. $3,500.
I'll second that if you want to have discussion on it.
Another way to look at that too, if you do half of it and see what's left over in this, as we get to,
Yeah.
You get to April, you might have money
Yeah.
left over in this account. You can buy more hose.
More hose.
More gear or-
Might need more, so.
I mean, how much,
I haven't even done
how much
this
three-
this year.
how much 3 inch, you said this is on engine 3 on the Blitzcom?
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't have the hose. I have the hose. right
Yeah, but I mean, what is it? It's like a 300-foot pre-connector or something? I mean,
I believe so, yes.
It's 3.
so 300 feet of 3 inches, $10,000?
No, there's other hoses though too, but it's not just that.
Well, no, that's what I asked. And you said 3 inch for the Blitzcom on engine 3.
So I said there's other hoods also,
Like what?
like the 2.5 inch on truck 4 that's on there. There's other hose on engine 3. There's other hose in the rack in the room that's no good.
I know it. I walk in the door in Buffalo and I look, there's so much hose. There's hose on the floor. There's so much hose that doesn't even fit on the rack.
I don't know.
that's another one of those things that, like, if it was a pooled resource, there was a stockpile of shared hose and then there was hose deployed on vehicles, easier to,
Yeah.
right? Because everyone's doing their own slush fund. There's 2
Yeah.
slush funds of hose now, so there could just be one.
Or we just bought it as it failed or needed replacement.
Yeah.
As it timed out, we replaced this.
Sure.
Yes, sir.
Speak,
Yep.
Mr. Speak. This is just another NFPA standard that we have to meet, all right? That there has to be at least one full set of hose changes on the rack. We didn't make that rule,
Mhm.
all right? We're stuck with it. I just want to point out here that one of the fires that we fought last week in Newtown it was 12 degrees out. The 5-inch hose froze.
I bet.
We had to use 3-inch hose to get things done. It was, the 3-inch hose remained flexible and flowed. The 5-inch flowed because the amount of water is flowing out at the end when they disconnected it from the tankers and from the porta john and stuff like that. We were in a bad way there the other day. Thank God we had some 3-inch hose with this and we got the job done. And we lost water because in the 5-inch hose, I use that as a positive, it's a gallon a foot. So if you have 100 foot of 5-inch out, it's 100 gallons in the hose. With the 3-inch out, it's about 400 gallons in there. So, I mean, it's less water in the hose, but the hose is more functional. Doesn't freeze up as quick as the big stuff, but it doesn't move quickly at low pressures. And we were in a bad way. And I just want to confirm, as Chief Ingram brought up, those 3-inch pre-connects on the deck doors are 300 feet each. So we have one at 6, we have one at 5 for us. He's got multiple engines. So that's 600 feet right there. It's a lot of holes. It's not cheap. I wish it was. It's not.
Sure. All right, we'll put you a second on your motion?
I seconded it again.
All right, and the motion was, read back.
To
Reduce
one
it.
half
Go
that
half.
number.
Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
So it went down to 3,500.
Which would be 500 more than last year.
No, it was, 10,000 was requested, right?
So, yeah, 7,000 the increase, yeah.
So if he's, just to clarify, if
Sounds
he's-
like 5,000.
it's 5,000.
5,000.
Yeah. Okay.
That's correct.
Okay. Any other topics we want to hit on in this cost center?
Yes. What hazmat meter are you buying for $1,000? They gotta be more than that. You have $1,000 for hazmat meter, just below the, 2 lines below those.
It's the one with the nozzle on the end of it. They're not all that much money.
Okay.
The sense it, yeah.
Okay. It seemed like a low number, $1,000 for a
No,
meter.
it's the sniffer one. I don't know the exact number, but we were gonna get 2 of them. I think it was, what's
The sense it.
yeah, well, how much is it?
Sense it with the chargers and support stuff is $1,000.
Oh, it's
The meter's like 5 1/4, and because I have one here, 5 1/4, and obviously 2 of them would be 1,100, and then you have to get the special batteries and stuff for it. You don't have to charge. You can use the special batteries, but they, but they're 5 1/4 each. To answer your question.
All right, any other topics, in this line? Give the vent saw replacement for truck 4. It's the only other large one.
That's to replace the saw that we have from Bethel. That I borrowed from them.
Yep.
To give them their saw back and we just purchased our own.
On your, it's not a huge number, and I'm not looking to cut it, but just a question on your absorbent, speedy dry and hazmat materials.
Yeah.
Do you try to recover some of that? Like if you have like a large spill and the DEP gets called, you can ask the DEP
It's
to,
the first thing I asked. them,
okay.
And we have.
I know some of the previous chiefs had no knowledge that you could even do that. And it was like, yeah, cause they bill it out to the insurance company or whoever's responsible for the bill, and they can usually come the next day, and you always embellish to.
Well, we actually had stuff dropped off.
Yeah, they come and they drop it off like the next day.
But we were completely out of speedy dry.
Yeah, like I said, I wasn't looking to cut the number or something. I was just trying to make you aware that.
We had an incident, remembering whether we got reimbursed for it. On Walnut Hill, in the spring. The town was going after.
All right, any further discussion on, Stony Hill 5202 account? All right, moving on. 5207 firehouse maintenance. Big increase here. Two big items here that make up the bulk of the increase is, Plime Event, all new hose, and the oil water separator.
Which we're gonna start with.
Let's talk about Plime Event.
The cryo vent system in there is at the age of that firehouse and they're starting to fail. So this is actually something that probably could get moved over to capital, or it could get moved over to the town, just taking care of it. So hoses are starting to fail and they're not cheap fixing them. And the service contract after the last meeting there is $800 a year, which I added.
I think it's good.
Did they tell you what they cover in the service contracts? I don't recall. That's why I asked.
Probably send you the service contract.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I seem to remember it seemed worthwhile to have it at the time. Let me ask my computer illiterate question. What is Google Workspace?
It's the, emails and stuff for the officers.
Emails and stuff. You have to pay for emails?
Email, Google Drive, all your documents on there, the calendars that they use. Same one that they use, but it's a separate account.
Seems like that.
Why do we have to have a separate account? Why can't we be the town of Bethel?
You have to take every email account and change it. You could argue to come out of the town IT, it's a town department. I would argue that every week, put it in the town IT department. For both
Well,
parties.
that's kind of the point I was getting to. I mean,
Yeah.
we're a town agency. I think
It'd be a
that,
great thing for the fire commission to recommend.
You throwing us bones?
No, listen.
I'll make a motion then that we recommend that the town IT department fund the $1,800 for the Google Workspace email.
Second.
Maybe you could get a better rate or something.
I just sent that to you, but
All right, thank you.
You make the same motion for Bethel. and you're like,
Sure.
Any discussion on that? Vote on that?
Who makes the decision?
I will push it over to them. See what they say. Guess probably Brad and IT together. Brad will decide whether he wants it to stay here or move it over there. Ultimately, it all comes from one big bucket, right?
I don't know where our difference was. I just remember.
If we did half of the Plano vent hoses this year, it's, they like you split it up. Or-
That I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if that's something we want to do, do it half or all at once. I don't know.
If you want to make the budget look 3 or 2.5.
There you go, we do have.
Is that,
We do have.
we do half.
Is that a motion?
Motion that?
I don't know if he's talking about the email or the phone.
No, the private.
Oh, we voted on the email, right?
So is that a motion to
Sure.
move the plan event repairs to half? Second,
Thank you.
all in favor?
All right,
Aye.
so that would be 5,000.
Doug, were you the first one to make the motion then?
We'll do that.
Because he seconded it, so I
Yeah.
just want to make
Yeah.
sure. Okay.
What's involved in cleaning the oil water separator?
They, suck out the tank there in front of the firehouse.
The back truck coming.
Yeah, so it's just a vac truck and.
Yeah, it has to be disposed of.
Hazmat tank, but, you know, there's weeks.
They should have one.
That's the actual cost tag.
Yes, it is.
So, and you do it annually,
Yes, so that's the annual contract. We never had an annual contract.
otherwise it smells bad.
Well, that was the problem. We couldn't figure out where the smell was coming from. And we narrowed it down to the oil water separator that was bolted to the top.
So has it ever been cleaned out
It was just done a month and a half ago.
prior to that?
Never.
So do we really need to do it annually if it's never been done until
Okay,
this
you
year?
wanna live and smell.
Well, no, I'm saying, but it just started smelling recently,
It
right?
just didn't start smelling. It's been smelling.
It's been smelling for 10 years. I mean, that's what I'm trying to get.
We've got Pembroke pump the ones out inside the bays, there's storm drains.
Okay.
So that's where the odor was coming from. Those been pumped out by Pembroke several times. But this is the actual oil water separated out of the park.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to understand, is it something that we actually need to do every
This is
year
something
or?
else that shouldn't even be coming out of our budget, should be coming out of the town's budget.
You're right. You're not wrong. Your whole firehouse maintenance account shouldn't be, it should be part of the town's maintenance theoretically, but you want me to make that recommendation?
So I was told to add that line item in there.
Yeah, no, I'm not, I'm just asking if it's something that actually
No,
needs
it
to be
has
done.
to be
every-
done. If we want to keep the building smelling decent. I
Okay,
prefer to do
that's-
it every year.
We don't want.
Asked and
to
answered.
smell this firehouse.
All right, any further discussion on 5207? All right, moving on. 5208, vehicle maintenance. Have, aging fleet, so general service and repairs is up, federal inspection is up 30%, 33%.
Yeah.
On spots for truck 4.
It's an annual subscription for Knox box. That's something that's new to me.
The new Knox boxes are not programmed with a laptop. It's all done over the air and cloud-based subscription service. So it's not just a program on your computer like the old ones are. So if you want to reprogram the newer Knox boxes, it's cloud-based and you have to pay $700 a year for up to 5 users. If you start having more than 5 new Knox boxes, you gotta get another subscription for another $700.
So do we have to pay $750 for both departments?
It's one account for both departments. So they have a new one, we have to get that in there, but that'll be included. Because Stony Hill bought 2 new ones for truck 4 and the Chief's car.
Yeah.
So it just came out of.
So Bill's not gonna ask for $750 for
No,
Knox
because
box
there's, you can
subscription.
have those for 5 users and it's one.
And we talked about that.
Yeah, that's.
Well, maybe that's something that should be funded to the emergency management account.
No, no.
All right.
Well, no, it's one thing that's being, subsidized between the two departments. It should be fun. I mean,
Who does the?
I think it should be funded through the emergency management.
The Chief of Stony Hill does the program.
In this current position.
And how do you, what's the, I'm sorry, you're saying 5 users, you're talking like
5
5
units.
boxes?
Yeah, 5
Yes.
boxes. So
And everybody, does everybody have an access to user social security number or something to punch in?
Yeah, it's not, and that's not, so it's the actual devices that are in the upper end. So we
Yeah.
have the 4 pumpers have older units that are keypads that use a really old software
Yeah.
that's on a laptop. And the newer ones are all cloud-based, so you,
Every firefighter gets it, or certain levels get it, get the access to the box?
every firefighter gets it. Yeah, you just put in a 4-digit PIN.
Am I still the only residential Knox box in town?
I think so, yeah. Cool.
You too can have Mr. Brewery in your.
That's right.
bathroom.
That's right. As soon as you see Ed Brewery in your bathroom, you don't want, that's it.
I'd like to expand on the Knox box issue that was up here on the table. And some of the other positive uses of the new Knox box that is very high concern myself and the fire marshal, Chief Edrusky as well, is right across the street here, where they put the big cement blocks in, blocked access to that building, both from Greenwood Avenue and School Street. We have no access with an aerial or engine device on the right side of that 155 Greenwood across the street. So there's 2 things going on. Down is a negotiation to buy that property. So there's not a discussion there. We try to get the property owner to do something to allow us access to that building. I mean, there's 17 apartments there. And one was 4 stories. That what looks like an attic window right across the street here is actually the bedroom walk. So we're not even going to catch up with a 40-foot ground ladder. So one of the things that Tom suggested, and it was an excellent idea, was instead of having those cement blocks there, how about putting a chain across with a Knox box on it? So we could pull in with an engine or whatever, take the Knox box key, open that up, and drop the chain and get the apparatus in there. But fortunately, the owner of the property won't discuss. But that concept was excellent because it gave us potential use or potential access to this property, for life safety reasons. I just wish it was able to be successful. Maybe it will be in the near future, I don't know, but, that was a way to save a ton of money.
Yeah.
And maintain the safety of the community. So, these whole Knox box things are really limited by your imagination, but that was one in particular that Tom came up with, I thought was an excellent idea, and it would have been funded by this appropriation.
Yeah, you'd think, their insurance company would go for something like that, because you can't get to their building either. Not that that building's worth as much as the giant building, but you can't get into that property. You get the street access on Greenwood, that's all you got.
For fire code, you can access on the street, 150 feet from the.
That's right, 150 feet, right?
You're fine.
Hook up a chain to the first police car and drag the block out of the
That's the
way.
black side.
Of course, you gotta pull a third and fourth police cars out of the way. All right. Thank you for the discussion of the Knox box. Where were we? 5208?
The big one is the federal inspection of chassis and transmission services, so that's up to a whole bunch of things looped together.
We're doing this, is this is not Gallons a Night, this is going to multiple people? Or is Gallons a Night doing this?
Yeah, Gallons in a GCAP.
Yep.
The only one that isn't going there is truck Ford.
Because that's part of that, part of the purchase price?
Wouldn't they give us 3 years on that or something? 5 years?
Lifetime.
I thought it was lifetime.
Lifetime.
Test and
Pump test, DOT inspection is just done, 2 weeks ago.
This was one of the ones that was talked about a number of times about consolidating all the trucks going to, does Bethel go to Gallons a Night for this too?
Yes.
And then the discussion was, is there a service provider that'll do it cheaper,
Yeah.
with less hassle?
Closer.
Does this say, the cost increase, is that a legit number, like they told you? 5 trucks and each one's gonna cost another $1,000?
Well, it wouldn't be 5 trucks, it's 4.
4? So it's going up $1,250 per?
Yes, roughly.
What is the cost of an annual inspection?
I don't,
so when they bill it, they lump it all together. So federal inspection, if they're chassis cleaning, it's brake inspection, any repairs that need valves on the pump test, it's all lumped into one big bill. And when you break them out, they're around that much, if not more. It all depends on the year too, depends on where you're going.
I understand it, that's just, years ago when I did it, we did federal inspections as one thing. You had that, federal inspection.
Yeah.
It wasn't the maintenance of your vehicle for the year or all your repairs. It
Oh,
was
yeah,
just the
that's-
federal inspection.
I always had it billed separate.
And then that.
Bill me for the inspection, bill me for the pump test, bill me for the service, and then bill me for repairs.
Well, that's how you can track.
That's how you
actual
get
repair costs.
actual costs.
They go to just build this, just unwarm something. for it.
That's why I never particularly liked that one vendor.
I don't think the vendor and the inspector should be the same person either, personally. Inspection should be done by somebody and then you have your choice of who fixes it. Person.
but the truck's there, right? Where's it? You're gonna take a truck from there and drive it someplace else to get fixed?
Well, see, I never took a truck to Watertown to have a federal inspection. I took them to Brookfield or Danbury. So I either went to Don Levy's or sometimes, Taylor did them in the bay. So they didn't move at all.
Yeah, I used to have, that Fallon used to come to the firehouse and he would actually do the pump testing and annual inspections in our building, in town.
Yeah.
Also eliminated having a truck out of service for multiple days.
Potential for. I just wanted to know if
Let's
they
go there for the pump test and everything else.
We used to
We're
do-
done here.
We used to do pump tests right here in town. Used to go down to Putnam Park.
Somebody pay a lot more to have a vendor come out and do that. problem.
Maybe, that's, I was just asking what the annual inspection cost is, that's all. So you-
Yeah, it's
For a truck.
They probably break it out in the actual invoice, but I know we've always just got a one lump sum invoice for
Right.
all that at the same time. Yeah. They take care of it.
Because I know for a fact, when you, that's Firematic, you have a list of every price, what every item test cost, and then to quote,
Yeah.
every truck's the same, they just give you the.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Federal inspection is $250 or $500.
We actually gave you-
Because then you can break out actual repair costs.
I don't know, it's just, to me, this is just another account that must have some significant fluff in it because somehow you found $4,000 to buy a cap last year out of this account.
We're going to cap again.
I was waiting for you to say it.
It was something that wasn't budgeted for. I mean, so you found money for it. I mean,
I'm sure you found money in your budget when you needed it.
No, it's you're right.
always did. I didn't have a fire commission question, you know.
All right, anything else? in
The point is,
52?
Doug, is, for me, the point I'm trying to make is if we're going to purchase things, we should budget for things.
I'm following it.
I mean, if there's money left at the end of the year, I always went to the finance department and said, listen, I have money left at the end of the year. This is something I didn't budget for that I would like to buy, and I would get approval for it.
I got approval for the cap.
I know you got, I know you got approval for it. My point is there was $4,000 fluff in your vehicle maintenance account last year,
So
at least.
just to go back to the inspections, Doug, the line above it is also the pump testing. So inspections and repairs are more like $30,000 or something, right?
For everything together, yes.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman,
Chief,
just a general statement on this vehicle account. It's gonna come up with me, but, the deficit, the Chief, Devanuska. Not all vendors operate on a fiscal year. Some of them operate on a calendar year. And what we just experienced here with our equipment, truck repair group, was they had a 12% increase in labor costs in a year. Which we can't budget for, we don't say it coming. If they worked on a comparable thing like fiscal year, it's just supposed to calendar, and we probably could be a little bit more accurate with the estimate these costs would be. Again, this is just one more thing that we didn't have any control over.
Mhm.
And you look at, I don't care, I called 3 different vendors about labor costs. They all had 10 to 12% increase this year. And they all worked on a calendar year. So it put us in a bad spot. Again, so like the NFP standards, we didn't have any control over. So we just want to put that in there.
thank you.
Yeah.
All right, and then the only other big item down in 5208 is the on spots for truck 4, which it has traditional chains. These are on spots, right?
Yes.
And we told you to put that in your budget.
Yes.
Any other discussion in 5208? All right, so we made no adjustments to 5208. 5301 and 5306, there are no increases asked for in either of those. So, any discussion on those two? Hearing none?
It's the, in the 306, is that 19.5, is that enough for your physicals? Some changes to the physical requirements? That gonna be enough money?
I believe it is enough, Fred. I don't.
Because there's been some changes this year, right? As to what's gonna be required for an annual physical, or am I misinformed?
Yes, there were changes.
But the answer is that's enough money to,
Yes.
Okay. trying to get you more money.
Okay, so, no further discussion on Stony Hill? All right, so we have, I've recorded 3 changes to that, which we'll make, and then this is acceptable, we'll go to Board of Finance. All good? All right. Nice work, Doug. Nice work. All right. Bill, the floor is yours.
Were you given the changes that were put together by the controller yesterday? I brought copies. We should all on the same page.
Well, were you given the highlighted copies that Casey gave you?
Well, we're gonna get some more highlighted in a second.
All right.
Peter?
What is the change here? You just made the font smaller?
Wanted us to save money, what can I say? Right.
You have their glasses.
I do.
So.
This looks the same with smaller numbers.
It's the same with
It's the
smaller?
same with
All right,
smaller
use
size
all the bigger
numbers.
numbers.
No, I paid for this out of my own pocket. All right?
Oh, no.
Oh, yes.
Paper.
You want a good presentation, you're gonna get it.
Yeah, but like, your increase isn't even all that big. And
Well,
then Brad moved a bunch of this stuff to
But I
capital
understand.
non-recurring, which takes it down to 0 increase.
listen,
Are you gonna read this to us?
no, I'm gonna give you an overview, and you can read it when you go home for your homework. And then it's like I tell my students, so. What I just handed out here is a 40-page historical outline of the budgetary process for the fire departments in the town of Belleville for the last 40 years. And I'll start it by saying this, as I look at Chief Ingram and Chief Peter here, I can feel your pain from the historical data that I looked up and saw some things that I thought were absolutely incredible. And I'll start by saying there were years where there was requirement for a 5-year capital plan. One of them by one of the gentlemen here today. And the 5-year capital plan, it happened a couple of times, were submitted to the town and not a single thing was got. Not one. There were 2 5-year programs, capital programs that were requested from past fire chiefs. Only one of the 5 were done. This can't go on. This is absolutely incredible. The other.
And that's
highlight-
part of, not to interrupt, but that's part of the, like, when we started working on this was to give everybody
I
a
know.
nice forward-looking view, so there's no surprises. And- Yeah, okay,
Well,
sorry.
And they asked for it. The finance department and the selectmen, they asked for it.
Yeah.
And we
That's
put
why I
it to
said
them. and-
I feel your pain from the past. And Mr. Chairman, that's exactly one of the reasons for this today, is that massive change and how that will be looked at. We really looked at the capital expenditures as proposed, and we agreed on it. And now there's another massive change here. It's so difficult to put together something you can plan for, make sure that you're gonna maintain a safe working environment for your employees, firefighters, and have adequate equipment to meet the needs of the town. With that being said, a good portion of this is research into the development of the community. Now, inside here, you're gonna see references to either immediate past, current, or proposed, building, in this particular case, just downtown. There are approximately 475 units that have just been built, are being built, or are proposed to be built. A lot of these things now, like right across the street here, 4 stories. Nashville Road, 4 stories. I mean, and large numbers of occupancies. I'll use the Nashville as an example. There were 275 proposed units in that 5-story building, and they came back with a reduced amount. They went from 75 to 72, right? Yeah, and despite the efforts of the fire marshal to, see what else we could do there, we need the equipment. The English Drugstore project. I mean, 24 units there. That expansion of that whole block, half a block there. These are things that are going to necessitate equipment, manpower, turnout gear, hose, etc. So what I'm trying to do here is give a solid historical perspective of where we've been, where we are right now, which is scary, especially downtown. 475 they just mentioned is for existing downtown structures. I didn't touch Route 6. I didn't touch it. I wouldn't sleep at night if I had to. I don't know how this guy sleeps at night. And then what's coming down the pipe, giving a good proactive perspective on what we can expect the fire department to have to provide in the near future. And it's not cheap. I understand that the TOD, the Transportation Oriented District, allows a lot, the 830 things, all that other type of legislation that allows for a lot of development like this. And as you know, especially yourself and other positions you hold, that these are the realities of where we are in this community, right? And in some of the other hats that I wear in a nearby community, it's that much greater. And so what I just wanted to do was, maybe this would help you in your job as fire commissioners, maybe some of the other agencies in town, just that this was an in-depth 2.5 week, every day in the firehouse, pulling out all the old records of the fire company, most of which were in not bad shape, and going through them all and putting in my hope into a more modern perspective of what the needs of the community are, referencing fire protection. Okay. So that's guys, girls, president.
Can you give,
And
can
this
we
is,
put this on the Google Drive if we get a link? Can you link it
Yeah, I
and
can
attach
send
it to the
in.
minutes?
Yep.
and
Yep.
who was the fourth commissioner?
I don't think Todd's coming back. Really, at
We'll
least
see.
until he gets appointed, he's not coming back.
Okay.
So, but what we can do, Casey can take it. If you give her the file, she can put it on the Google Drive and then people, oh, you got it.
Casey and I talked about
Okay.
that, and if you give me one more date for that, my technician wasn't able to get it to us, so. all right.
Yeah.
And
Great.
since my technician is volunteer, she has to work, so that's it.
This is a ton of effort. And just size alone, ton of effort. But I'm looking forward to it.
And all the effort, Fisher, that was put into this was done by volunteer labor. The pro will stick out there.
You woke me up from my nap to get my 2
I'm
cents.
sorry, I'm sorry. But you know what, if you're having trouble sleeping tonight, try just pull that out. I'll just give you a quick overview before we start on different things that, one of the things that was brought out here during my meeting with the first selectman, the control yesterday, was reference to putting some of this in capital. And before we start our review of the Bethel budget tonight, I questioned as to what capital we were talking about. They said, oh, some of these things you're asking for might be able to come out of this year's capital. Boy, that was an eye opener to me. And I hope it's true. But I don't want these items, like Chief Evanuska just presented, thrown into that deep hole of, oh, we'll put it in the capital down the road.
Right.
We're not gonna look at it.
That hole doesn't work well.
All right, I hope we can take this seriously tonight, which I'm sure you will.
Mhm.
And discuss it.
I am totally not in favor of that. I think the items that are in the capital should be the items that we've worked hard to put in the capital and are recommended be funded through the capital. to arbitrarily just start throwing things in the capital, they're not gonna get funded.
This is exactly what happened.
They're not gonna get funded.
That's what I'm afraid of. I should say, I can't. I'm being selfish here. The organization can't absorb that. You can't. It's just, it's not gonna work because this other document that I just gave you proves that. And you as chief, you took a hard hit when you were chief with that Holsworth report. I am just astounded.
I think it's a joke.
Yeah, you did. I can't believe you got through those 5 years with that. You didn't get anything from it.
Well, the last one wasn't much better, to be honest with you. What has that one done for us? Got us a ladder truck in Stony Hill.
Right.
Which we would have wound up getting anyway.
No, what I did with this report was everything referenced in those reports, those capital plans. Myself and my helpers, we went through all of the town's documents to see where they went. And most of them went nowhere. They were lost in space. And in this day and age, we can't have that, right? You can't, you're gonna see references in that report to a 15% increase in housing, a 7.5% increase in the population and stuff. And, and now, as Tom and I went through, the fire marshal I went through a couple of weeks ago, seeing that there's challenges in housing now. We had issues with 2 separate buildings that removed close to 30 people out into the street because of the conditions of the housing. And I think approximately 20 of those involve children. This is what we're dealing with now. We need the equipment and we need the backing, especially the commission, and make sure that when we run into these situations that we have adequate equipment to meet the needs of the community. And a lot of this stuff is tough to deal with. God help us that those places weren't on fire. There would have been multiple fatalities, there's no doubt about it. So enough said. You want to start on this? I have another meeting to go with.
All right,
So
opening up the discussion on the Bethel Fire Department budget, cost center 5202. Discussion commentary. And there's an additive error too.
I can give you a quick overview here. A lot of these increases are due to increased labor. Again, can't control it.
Mhm.
Same work being done, labor increased 12%. That's a huge number, going from $180 an hour to $200 an hour, going from 160 to 180. And that's what because I called 3 different vendors on this.
So you actually, in case is Bill aware of what Brad had suggested on these?
I believe that's what he was talking
Yeah,
about.
okay.
before.
This is this is Brad's suggestions.
Okay.
All right, so I'll put the first question out there. What are we doing with level B hazmat suits? Isn't that beyond
Yes.
our scope of practice?
All the level B hazmat suits we have are expired.
They came from Homeland Security after
They
9/11.
did many years ago.
My question is though, isn't that beyond our scope of practice?
No, it's part of our scope of practice. Is it level B? The 4 levels of hazmat are awareness, operational, technician, specialist. We are at the 2nd level, which is our operational. That's part of firefighter 1. Actually, myself and Chief Evanuska discussed this in depth over the weekend about making sure that we had an adequate amount of protection based on the needs of the community. And we've had some, unfortunately, some hits on hazmat. So what we want to do is, I'm only asking for 6. And I think that's your box. John told me it was a box of 6. So what it did is it gave us 2 people to actually do the decon. Let me expand on yours first. Level B is part of the operational. It's the decon section, the firefighter 1. And you are expected to perform at a level that you're trained to, which is the fire 1, it's operational, and included in that is the decon. So we got 6 suits. That would give us 2 for people to do the actual decon and 2 to stand by in case something goes wrong with the suits, and 2 for entry. So 2 in there doing, if they have to, do anything that they're allowed to do at the operational level, such as gasoline leaks, diesel fuel leaks, propane up to 100 pounds, that's that kind of stuff. We would have the minimum number of suits to do it. Coming through the decon line, it would be 2 people in the decon line doing the decon. And then it would be the 2 that are required on the OSHA standards for 2 and 2 out. So all we're asking for is 6.
This would eliminate people crawling around in diesel fuel and an oil leak, ruin the $5,000 set of turnout here versus $224 for,
Well, Well, you said he had a conversation with you, but I didn't see anything in your budget about it.
I have suits.
You have suits, okay.
He's got a whole, I don't.
He's got a
And
what?
the new level B suits are built different, radically differently from the old Homeland Security ones. These have reinforced cuffs. They have collars on the cuffs, both at the ankle and at the wrist level. And the other thing now is that they have reduced, if you have a tight fit around the mask, you don't have to tape around the mask anymore. Unless the incident commander determines that the chemical that's being worked on requires a higher level of protection, and then we'll tell the operations officer to put the tape on the mask.
What's the life expectancy on these, or what's the service life?
Same thing as the other one.
So,
And stuff.
okay.
But Chief, you know, I went down to Vanderbilt to try to deal with them, hoping they would buy and stuff like that, and then the same both the RDs. So we're using the old stuff for the Fire One training.
Everything in parentheses is a reduction.
Yep.
So how many sets of firefighting gear are you asking for?
We dropped it from 8 to 6. Like Chief Governors, he's got 9, I've got 6 people. So that was a substantial drop, Chief. We went from, that was a $10,000 drop.
I see it. I was just
Yeah,
wondering why.
45 to 35.
So you're buying the gear that you actually need right now. You're planning ahead.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
You need 6 sets, so.
Yeah.
That's what you're
Yeah,
asking.
I think that's gonna be more than adequate for this year.
And you, when you budget for gear, you include helmet.
The whole, yeah,
It's the whole, as opposed to what
That's
we
correct.
did with Doug, it had 2 line items. So that's why a 6 sets is around 36 grand.
it is. And again, you know, there was substantial increase.
Yep.
And again, that's calling multiple vendors.
Yeah.
Chief Amuska did a good job of doing that, so. And listen, $500 for a pair of boots. Beyond my expectation.
Yep.
He just told you paid $150 a pair for gloves. The quotes I was getting was $175, $190.
Yeah.
So it's the volume discount that he's getting. Gloves. I mean, you know, whatever. And on the Scott masks, based on prior, that got dropped in half as well. We still have some air packs that are not up to the new standard as a mask. We will now,
How many does it get you? 4250?
looking for 10. And the prior request was at 20.
Looking at your, replacement rope, equipment. Seems like we put a pretty significant, amount of money into that over the last 2 years.
They did in the actual rope, but some of the devices that go with that, there wasn't enough money to get. That's all, that would be the mechanical devices. Okay? And I think Doug's a little better explaining the mechanicals than I am. That's his area of expertise. But that's not a lot. It's not a lot. I know, they're expensive. So, But yeah, we have the rope. We just didn't have enough to get everything to match with. That's all. But I'd really like to get into detail about the items at the bottom. Mr. Chairman, it's up to you then.
Which ones?
Starting with the portable radio batteries.
That's where, Brad has suggested some stuff there.
That, all those items right there is what he wants to put in the capital program.
Mhm.
Right? And I asked him to be, somewhat definitive on when that would take place. And both he and the first selectman said, well, it should come out of this year's capital. So certainly would hope that that would affect anything else that we wanted to do. But they would not, be guarantee on that. But if they feel that that's a low enough number to get those items this year, that would certainly.
Yeah, that's around $22,000 worth. And if you apply that to your overall budget, it keeps you flat.
That's correct.
Basically a 0% increase, which is,
But actually, no, if you looked at our overall budget increase with those items taken out, it's about $3,500.
Yeah.
Right, we did, the pencil was sharp on this.
Yeah,
All
it's
right,
nice.
but we did that with the idea that, all these items that we talked about here, the pagers, the bailout kits, all that stuff. This is stuff that was in prior budgets. Again, a reason for that historical perspective.
I asked for bailout kits. I asked for
I
bailout
know
kits.
it
I never got them.
goes back that far. Yeah, 14 years. Chief Murphy asked for them, Chief McCollum asked for them. And the first selectman told me yesterday, you already got that stuff. I said, no, we didn't. Yes, we had an argument about it. And I said, show me, we don't have them. And he looked, he says, yeah, you're right. He said, I thought we bought that stuff. He said, we need it.
What about the rescue harnesses? I know we bought a bunch of those.
We did, but they're in the 10-year. Those also fall under the NFPA 10-year thing. They're all
Can't be 10 years. We just bought them.
that long ago. Not all of them, but there's like 3 or 4 that are still okay.
You don't get them with a set of gear?
We're talking about that jump doors.
Yeah, they comes with a set of, it comes normally
I
when.
didn't put them.
Oh, you're talking about Gemter harnesses.
Correct.
I thought you were talking about
No,
because Doug includes his harnesses with his coats and pants.
Yeah.
good thing about. the
This is
jump
where,
doors-
this is where it gets so confusing, and we try to get you guys to, try to compare apples to apples here, and it's,
And then the other harnesses that you're talking about are the body harnesses.
right,
for,
and we just
propellant
bought all
and
those
stuff.
last year.
Yeah, for the rope rescue.
Yes, that's what I thought this was.
Well, I'll give you a reason for the jump doors is,
Well, I'm not saying we shouldn't get them, I'm confused as to it. Like I said, Doug budgets for them in a single line with his coats and pants. You're separating it out, and I didn't understand what it was.
well, we're separating it for a couple of reasons. Number one, as you know, it's a way to secure yourself in a ladder operation. We have a situation now, we have a.
I'm not saying we shouldn't get them, chief. I was just confused as to what you were asking for.
That's
A rescue harness versus. The only other thing I'll ask for some discussion on is the pack tracker. I know that came up a few years ago. I believe Chief McCollum asked for it, and the commission just felt that it wasn't justified to go with that,
With what?
the pack trackers.
Well, we had one donated. So, the one we had donated needs a charger and a battery. And then what we want to do is carry at least 2. And the reason being, all the new air packs that are being purchased have the tracking device built into the air packs, but we don't have the device to monitor that. We don't have it. There's none in Bethel. So by, getting at least 2 pack trackers, it's going to allow you to maintain 2 operations within people, in an ideal atmosphere, in a burning building, whatever. In Brookfield, every single, what do you call it? Oh, God, rip back. Either rip back or fast back. It has a pack tracker in it and a thermal imaging camera. So when they do rip stuff, no matter what bag they pull, they have those devices in it. We don't have any. So if we have a firefighter now that's lost in a building, it's going to be old school.
Here's my concern with it, chief, is you and I go to a fire, you've got a pack that has a pack tracker capability. I don't. I die, what's the liability to the town?
You know, the patch tracker I'm talking about is the one that we search with, the monitor, that we go in and look for somebody. I think what you're referring to is the one that's built into the air packs.
Yeah.
The one that's built into the air packs, we have on the new air packs. It's already in there. It was part of the purchase price. But if a firefighter goes down and the pass device goes off, it also activates the pack tracker part of the program. So unless you have a pack tracker to monitor that, doesn't do you any good. That thing can beep all day and send a signal out, but you have no way of monitoring that signal and initiating the locator device, which is that handheld pack tracker.
But not all our air packs have the locator device.
Well, we're almost there. Because even.
But that's my question. Is
Okay,
if I have an air pack that doesn't have a locator device and I'm the one that dies, what kind of liability does that put the town in?
we are looking very hard at trying to find a couple of bucks to turn the ones on that you bought with Supply 5. Those have the capability to be turned on. They just didn't get turned on. So I would estimate right now that we're about 50% with the ability to do it. Right now with existing air packs are turned on, and if we turned on all of them, we'd probably be about 90%. Again, there'd be 10% didn't have it. Because those ones that you bought with 5 have the ability to be turned on. It's just that it was probably cost saving at the time. It runs about $100 to $125 an air pack to do it. And you know what? During the testing process this year, maybe we'll have a couple extra bucks and we could turn them on. So I understand where you're coming from.
No, you answered some of my questions. I was,
Stony Hill has the
That's
same thing.
was, I don't mean to step on any toes here, but I don't even know if our air packs are capable of doing that. So
Well, if they were built since 2012, they are.
I mean, that's my biggest concern is if we're putting any percentage of our people out there without the ability to be tracked and a percentage of them that are, we're opening ourselves up to some liability for the members that we are putting out there that can't be tracked.
Well, the other side
Should
of the
they-
coin now is if we don't do it at all, what kind of liability is that?
We're on a level playing field if we don't do it at all.
When somebody says, well, gee, you're the only department around here that doesn't do that. And guess what? We are.
Well, this is why we talked about standardizing gear and the set of equipment that both departments buy, that it's the exact same, so we can say the cancer protection is the same in Bethel, Stony Hill and downtown, but the packs are the same.
we do
for
have the same,
finding
we do have
I
this.
mean, to me, this seems like this should be an item that
We just
is
wanna, that's all.
a townwide capital acquisition
So if
to
you're,
make sure all air packs are compatible and trackable within the town. We should, it's not something that should be piecemealed, in my opinion.
Well, I'm not gonna argue that. Let's buy them this year. You know, I mean, I'm attempting here to create a safe working environment. Right? We would have to call a mutual aid company to track our air packs. And they're all more capable of doing it. Most of them are capable of doing it for years. Listen, I was a chief somewhere nearby 20 years ago when they first came out, almost 20 years ago, 2012, and they had the pack tracker, and the pack trackers, all their packs were turned on. So, most of it, I can say, without reservation, just about all the mutual aid towns have the ability to do that right now. So, we gotta start somewhere.
Yeah, just my opinion, it's just something that we shouldn't piecemeal. It should be an all or nothing thing, in my opinion.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that. But we gotta start somewhere. So basically what will happen when we do this is 5, 6 in the ladder. We'll have the pack trackers, they're already turned on. We'll just be able to monitor those in the apparatus actually to address that we use the most. The 2 inches and the stick. So, you know, it's, you know, we're really not talking about a lot of money here. And the only other thing is that we still don't have a radiation device. We gotta get at least one. We need a radiation detector. You know, we got stuck on that one deal on Reservoir Street. I don't want to go through that again.
All right, any motions out of that discussion? All right, so I will make a motion though, that the 10 items Brad has identified as moving to capital, we move to capital.
Where is that? Where's that?
It
10
starts
start?
at the camera batteries
Two tick batteries and then down to the end.
and down to the end. And it totals just under $22,000.
That's such low amounts, you're there, moving it to capital.
Yeah,
You're gonna move $400 worth of batteries to gas.
I can't agree with
I'm
moving
gonna
it.
buy them tomorrow out of the budget and we'll have
Right,
plenty of money
he
left
could buy them
over.
tomorrow out of his budget now, yeah.
I don't agree with the tick batteries, the portable radio batteries, or the Kemptor harnesses. Those should remain in the equipment and supplies account. The other stuff, if you want to move to capital, I'll go with that.
So you said, so
So I would ask you to amend your motion to move the
the tick camera batteries, portable radio batteries, and the harnesses
let's leave.
to remain in. Okay,
So let's,
so I withdraw my motion.
so I'll make a motion then that we move the radiation detector, the level B hazmat suits, and the Scott Pack Tracker, the Scott Pack Tracker mounted chargers, the Scott Pack Tracker batteries to the capital.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the 10 items. Did I get that correctly?
Got two more on the next page, or maybe you don't have.
I got it. You got those.
Well, you got the charger, yeah.
So if I could just ask, so what will stay in the current budget?
All right, so leaving in the tick batteries, the portable radio batteries, the rescue harnesses, the bailout kits, and replacement of pagers.
And Chief, I just want to make a reference on that pagers. There's a substantial charge to put stenciling on there, and there's a substantial charge to get service contracts in there, and those are both reduced in here to make this a little bit more palatable. So.
And what pagers are we buying? Are we buying the plain one channel Motorola pagers? Or are we buying the ones that got like 10 channels in them?
Well, that's pretty much, it's cheaper to get the unification with the extra channels than it is to get the Motorola.
Really?
And that's why we went to it. So last year, they asked for 20 and we were awarded 15.
And I get 2 batteries.
It's some batteries. That was discussed. Right. We ran out of batteries when the chief needed one. So
Still need them.
I know. So
All right, so your motion is, you made a motion, not seconded, right?
I made a motion to
Seconds it.
move the radiation detector, the Class B hazmat suits, the Scott Pack Tracker mounted chargers, and the Pack Tracker batteries to the capital, leaving the remaining items in the equipment and supplies account.
Seconded by Pete. All in favor? Aye. Motion passes.
I'm sorry. Can we just go over that one more time?
Basically, everything is staying, Bill, except for the radiation detector, the level B hazmat suits,
Right?
the Scott Pack Tracker, the Pack Tracker chargers, the Pack Tracker batteries. We recommend that those be moved to the capital account.
Okay.
The other items we're recommending stay as requested.
Chief, just one thing. We already have a pack tracker. We just need a charger and a battery and stuff. Is there any way you can help us out with that?
You can't buy that out of your budget right now?
That's only a couple hundred bucks.
It's $850, $60.
Buy it. Buy it.
Yeah, buy it.
All right. On your advice.
Yeah,
Okay.
you can quote me.
All right, so I'll withdraw my motion that we move those to the capital account. I'll withdraw that motion and I'll make a motion.
We're just gonna strike them.
Because he's buying a charger, and I think for the one that was donated. So if he buys another one, let him get another charger and. So just leave it the way.
All right, I'll leave it the way it is.
$800 ain't gonna boil the ocean. All right. So that will close our discussion on 5202 for Bethel. Moving on to 5207, firehouse maintenance.
All right, I'd like to make a comment on that. In discussing this with the first selectman and the controller yesterday, these increases were all based on contract increases that the town bids on for all these cleaning the firehouse, things like that, hoods, et cetera. And they were able to pull up those contracts during that discussion yesterday. And those amounts were based on that.
So
Those
they're
changing
they're actual numbers.
Yeah. They are.
And the actual work that needs to be done, like the windows and the painting and the
Well,
moldy ceiling tiles and the leaking roof, where is that?
that is in the town's.
Building repair and cleaning.
Building repair.
Where is it? I mean, that stuff has to be done, just like the hose that's 50 years old and been kicked down the road. The roof of that building is the same thing. The windows in that entranceway are the same thing.
But chief, the roof in that, on that building is in the town building repairs capital expenditure for this coming year.
Good, but
But that doesn't mean it's.
doesn't mean a thing.
Right.
Yeah, well, the water main and the parking lot were supposed to be done in 2008.
Right.
That's in
And I had the
that.
Department of Labor called on me over the moldy ceiling tiles and they haven't been changed since that. So how do we get this stuff done?
I had to buy 2 new clickers for the ambulances and get the motor on the overhead big surface yesterday because of so.
How do we get it done, Doug? Where do we put that? Can it be, is there capital for fixing it? Whose budget is this?
That's gotta come
Well,
out of
I
the
mean,
building.
ceiling tiles, you should be able to replace. I mean, you're asking for $10,500 in building repair and cleaning. You should be able to buy some ceiling tiles.
Building maintenance should give you some ceiling tile. That should.
Building maintenance should be able to do it, right?
I mean, replacing the windows and the roof, that might be, that's a little different. I mean, when was that roof was done when you were chief?
I only think the addition is the only new part to that.
Oh, it's had a new roof on there since we've been there. I'm sure,
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
sure
yes,
that,
you're right once.
I thought you were chief
I think it was before me.
for you. That's old, man. That's old either way.
Yeah, it's all good.
But by the way, we had the OSHA, the state OSHA inspection on the elevator today. And everything passed except one thing. We put, of course, it had to be the fire department key into it, the manages the use of the elevator on emergencies. And he put the key and he spun it and it just kept spinning around. Says, got a problem. So the person from the state said, I'm not gonna red tag your elevator. I used to know these folks that service at Comb, KOA. And thank God the guy made a call and the Comb guy was there in 45 minutes. He said, if you get this thing resolved to my expectations, I'm not gonna red tag this elevator. And it came, it was just a circuit plug. It's on order for here tomorrow. But that saved us from having to put that elevator in service. So it's just, it's Chief Hopper just said, it's just one more wear and tear thing on that building. So
There needs to be like a big plan for the buildings too.
The only question I have, chief, is, just the Board of Finance, the Board of Finance is gonna look at this, or they might not look at it, but like pest control, why is pest control a different number for your firehouse versus what it is for Doug's firehouse?
They have bigger rats up there.
Closer to the water.
Okay.
They've had longer to live.
Right,
They're getting
it's a
bigger.
building.
And yeah, I mean, and hood cleaning, a different number,
A much
you got bigger hood than Doug's?
bigger system.
All right. As long as you're able to answer the question.
Yeah,
I mean,
no,
if I ask the question, you can be sure that, somebody on the Board of Finance is gonna ask the question.
I'll bring
And
that
the
up.
floor cleaning and waxing, how often do you do that?
Couple times a year.
Twice a
They
year?
asked that twice.
Yeah, okay. I used to do it 4 times, that's why I asked.
Yeah.
I used to do it
Wish
four.
I could. But once again, that was part of the increase in the contract with the cleaning company. They were able to pull that up and look at it.
Well, I would suggest that, we leave this account alone, and I would strongly suggest that you spend some of that $10,000 and get yourself some ceiling tiles.
Well, I hear you.
Keep going till in here.
Don't do them yourself.
Yeah, get a chair. I'll put it in here. All right, no motions associated with 5207. It stays as it's written. 52808, vehicle maintenance.
All right, listen, sore subject on my hat is, as you know, especially Chief Ingram, and Chief Humber too. We had some issues this year with some of our vehicles that had not been serviced in a long time. Right? And the recommendation was that these non-firefighting vehicles be referred to the town garage for general service and maintenance. I'm 100% behind that. Fortunately, we have to spend a lot of money, probably have to spend a little bit more to bring some of those vehicles up to snuff, if they even decide to do that. So we're talking about the chief's, the two chief's cars, which are old, the pickup truck, utility, and that vehicle used with fire marshal, fire police. Having them go to the town garage for servicing, hires, general maintenance, I think it's a very positive way of managing costs and reducing costs. Unfortunately, for most of those vehicles, they hadn't been managed for 4 years. And we paid dearly for that this year. So there's extra money in there. There's an not extra, correct myself, there's an increase in money in this year to maintain them on an annual basis with the thought that they would be done at the town garage and not being sent out. And there's no reason why we shouldn't be doing that. Okay, so kind of where we're at there.
Kind of tagging on to that, Chief. I mean, when a piece of apparatus, a major piece of apparatus needs batteries, can't we send that to the town garage and put batteries in? I mean, do we have to send an engine to Gallons a Night to change the batteries?
I brought it, Chief, I brought it up earlier that, you know, they operate on a calendar year, we're on a fiscal year, and the labor cost just went from $180 to $200 an hour. And a couple of my, your friend, Eddie, Bruce Taylor, other stuff I use, they went from 160 to 180. I get it, these guys are in business, this is their overhead, this is what happens, but on your recommendations, and a guarantee that some of these major things won't affect the warranty on the apparatus and stuff, because they're not certified, the EVFT technicians. I can't say we can't do it, but as you brought up on the air packs, you know, with worrying about liability, you know, if it's a major item and maybe even not a major item, like a battery, and it falls under the EVFT technician requirements, where are we going with that, you know? Boy, if we had an EVFT guy down the road, we'd be in good shape. Emergency vehicle technician, certainly.
I don't know that changing the batteries in a vehicle requires an
I don't know
EVT
either.
technician.
That's my
Changing a light bulb on, you know, I mean, I think,
changing the tire. Oh, we go locally with that, so.
I know you spent several $100s to take an engine out of service all the way to Gallons a Night to change the batteries. It seemed a little. I mean, I'm not trying to cut your budget over, I just.
No. Well, that's a good question to ask.
Well, maybe you can call the highway department and ask them when something has. to
Well,
be done.
we know they're not EVFTs. We know that.
We know they work on every town vehicle here. So if it was a battery or a light bulb, I don't think they have to be an EV.
That's certainly something can be researched.
I mean, I don't know, I guess we're kind of old school, we used to do this
We
stuff,
did it all
you know,
ourselves.
under the cover of darkness, you know, after a couple of beers, you know, in the middle of the night, you know, in the firehouse bay, I mean. We rebuilt the motor on one of the trucks, we knew we had a
Listen, I used to do the same thing too.
fire pump for.
I-
2026 now.
No, I understand.
Different world.
It is.
I understand that, but I think we could change the batteries in the truck.
But we'll find out.
The Plymouth Vent annual cleaning and service. Does that include a service contract? Doug had it, he had it like two separate lines. He had his service contract on one line and his repairs on a separate line. Are you doing an annual service contract?
We just had some repairs that we did that, I was gonna reduce the cost. And one of the things that you mentioned earlier, do we know what's in that? And I was told that there's one filter change that's in there. You asked some of the things, one of the things I know was a filter change. I can't tell you anything about the rest because I asked about it. Because we did a filter thing one day and I'm like, it's filter. I'm like, oh, you don't do a contract. It's included. Okay.
But so my question is, are you participating in an annual service contract? Is that included in this line?
No, it's not. No. But I'll tell you what, if you wanted to combine it with Stony Hill, I don't have any problem with that at all.
Well, I think if one department has a service contract under Plaquemine system, the other department should have a service contract under Plaquemine.
Well, I mean, if we combine our budgetary costs into one and get both buildings done, why not?
It's gonna be more money.
But it's gonna be,
1,600, it was 800 on that.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, do you guys have more hoses than we do?
Use per hose.
Yeah.
Seven bays.
You don't need to do every single one, you only do the top ones that
No,
don't respond out.
We have 8. Okay, the 2 ambulances, the ladder truck, the pickup, both engines, the tanker, and the rescue 8.
And your $800 covered how many?
Five. Two are not in use.
Because we only did the ones that are like the actual
Yeah.
trucks are going out constantly.
So if you were to guess for their 8.
So if we
My recommendation, I guess, is to add another line in with an annual service contract.
Yep.
$800.
So let's buy a line. Let's wait for
The
their.
service contract was
Yes.
800.
That's what Doug's is, yeah.
So 800 down to the 1750.
It's $179 per vehicle.
Yeah.
It's $152 per additional vehicle attachment. But it's $179 per vehicle.
So
1,400.
You have-
second truck behind the first truck, is that what we're saying? The one that rides at the second track, it's in the same track?
So it's
I've got no problem with special this, but I'm just reading what it says.
I was confused by what it said.
So there's 10 hoses in Bethel. 2 of them aren't being used currently, but
So 8
you
of them
didn't
would
count
cost.
the one where you got all your couches, and you didn't count the one where the trailer was.
Okay, so there's, where's the 10th one?
You have the tower, the trailer, the ambulance,
Trailer one.
the engine and the pickup, the other engine and the couches,
9. So 9
the
times
tanker and the rescue, 10.
9 times 2 is 18, minus 9 times 200, 18, so.
So Doug, was it a
We're
separate
right-
$800 for a
we're right at
service contract
1750.
from that, or was that the price of the service contract?
Say that one more time.
The $800 you have for a service contract, is that separate from the number of hoses? Or are we just saying they do their service contract based on the number?
Their service contract that they sent me was $800.
It's based off of the hoses.
Okay.
And it states right here, per station cost of service is $179.
What's that next line?
Says, additional vehicle, 152 per additional, it's per additional attached vehicles.
So that's the back row would be. the
So we're
additional
$1,700 for ours then, and we're asking for $1,750, so it would be okay.
So in the end, that is a service contract.
This is a service contract.
So the chief's number is for a service contract here as well. Correct? $1,700.
Sounds
So we're calling this a service contract, so he doesn't have a line for any additional repairs that may be required.
Right.
So it's 179, we have 10,
Annual service.
it's 1790. More like $40. Yeah. I say we combine the contract.
I don't think you can do that. Nobody drives to two different locations on one contract.
Yeah, because this actually states right here, Stony Hill Firehouse, 59 Stony Hill Road, 5 vehicles.
Anyway, that answered your question, right, Brett?
I guess it kind of answered my question. So this 1750 is gonna cover the cost of the annual service contract, but the cost of any additional repairs outside of the contract, there's no money for that. Whereas Doug has a separate line item. Yes.
It's actually replacing it.
Yes. The separate line, there was a lot of those.
Right.
We're playing Russian roulette here. We weren't buying a contract that hopefully we can spend more 1750 on repairs.
Maybe at their, when they come, they can tell you what needs to be done next year. What should be replaced.
I don't know, I could be wrong, but from my recollection that the service contract was beneficial. I think it covered stuff like if you drove out the bay and the hose didn't detach and you ripped the hose off, it was covered. And, and it covered, changing the filter and,
I think he said it's one filter change and then some. I think it was like the switch, maybe the switches.
Yeah.
Little stuff.
All right.
well, maybe we just really arrived this year. I mean, you didn't have anything in there last year, I don't think.
We had a couple of breaks this year.
You know,
All right. Any further discussion on 5208?
Yeah, I have one clarification on here, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
To address the Chief Ingram, the individual bill for the ladder tower test from Suffolk went up a lot. We just got the bill and it was around $2,800. And I asked him, should we include, do you anticipate this going up more next year? He said, absolutely. He said, put it in there for 5 to 10%. We had a lot smaller number in there and just that, he said, that's what it is now. So we're not going to stop testing it, but we're going to have to include, that's why that extra money's in there right now.
It's good we're doing it.
You were gonna give us a copy of that, service report as well.
Yeah, I've got it. I'll get it.
You were gonna send it to
Actually, you
Casey.
know what? Reason you didn't get it, it's in the controller's office. We'll get it.
All right. Any further discussion on 5208? If not, we made no adjustments there, so we'll move on. 5301, dues and education. $1,200 lighter than last year.
Yeah.
Any
Well, some of
discussion?
the people, that went to fire conferences, now that the annual conferences tell that the Mohegan Sun has, almost a 50% firefighting, program there. They picked up a lot of that slack. Not a lot, some. So some of the people are both firefighters and EMTs, went and took the fire classes and because they also took EMS classes, the EMS side of the fence picked up.
Nice.
You giving up on recruiting and retaining?
The person that, handled that, I tried to get a price from, no, that's just, I didn't get a price from. But we did get money from the state last year to do that. So, I'd have to see if that money is still available from the state. The state of Connecticut got a huge grant a couple of years back for recruitment and retention. And the new president of State Firemen's Association, still chairman of that committee.
You used to be able to get money from the, National Volunteer Firemen's Council too, didn't you?
But they got one of the FEMA grants. For prevention, and there's still money in that account. I know there is. But, and we were going to tap into it a little bit, so. We can work on that, so.
Any other discussion on 5301? Making no changes, we'll move on. 5306.
I got a couple of questions on that.
I'll start with one thing that's still got me right out of my mind, is the price for the first due account. You know, we
Yeah, why is yours more than Doug's?
because they had more money in the budget in the past to pick up that additional cost. The annual cost is, 5677, 5800.
Yeah, Doug put in 5,700.
Yep.
Right, you know, I thought we were splitting this equally 3 ways. Should be 5,700 for everybody, right?
You have 5700 each.
Right.
It's 5677 split. It's 5677 for each firehouse and for the fire marshal. 56, that's the 5% increase. It's 5% increase.
Yeah.
So it should be 5677 for the fire.
I mean, we're only talking $300, but I mean, you asked for 6,000 and everybody else asked for 5,700.
I put that in there. Again, looking at the variance between a fiscal year and a calendar year, as fire marshals pointed out, there's a automatic increase in there. He said 5%. I thought it was 3.5%. But the bottom line is that's the additional money I put in there. It's for that automatic increase.
The point is, though, is when this goes to the Board of
In July,
Finance,
when the budget, when the bill comes in July, it'll be 5677 for the park.
right, so the point is when this goes to the
That
Board of
includes the 5%
Finance, they're gonna see a line item in Doug's budget for $5,700. They're gonna see a line item in Tommy's budget for $5,700. And they're gonna see a line item in yours for 6,000. They're gonna say, well, how come everybody's, 2 people get it cheaper than you?
I just hear something about it was coming someplace else.
So I make a motion, we adjust that line down by $300. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
And the other question I had was, Chief McCollum would keep coming in here year after year, and he kept telling me that with all this software changes and then the computer upgrading and the internet upgrading we were doing, we wouldn't have a Comcast bill anymore.
Okay, I can address that.
Okay, please.
Let's start with 2 things here. Apparently, Tom, maybe you can help us. They're in the process of renegotiating the copying machines, and I was told that not to put in a specific figure for that. Here's what we had in the past, is they're trying to renegotiate that contract.
I don't know.
I didn't hear anything from you. No, and it actually, Jack verified that's a Jack Grace. Start with the top line, the CEN network, internet there. It stands for the Connecticut Educational Network.
You guys are getting a bill for that?
In fact,
IT basically.
How's that?
IT.
we are in a dilemma with all of the bills that we have for our internet services. The computer, the copier cost, everything.
Let's move down to IT then. It's not at home.
The CEN people were at the firehouse the other day. You guys had the same thing, right? Yeah. They had to do a lot of work on the machine. They upgraded, spent a lot of time on it. You know, Chief Ingram, I'm gonna withdraw my, I would rather discuss that. No disrespect, there's some issues there. I don't think would behoove the fire service to discuss that. We're not talking a lot of money, we're talking hundreds, but if you want to go to an executive session, I'll discuss it.
I'll make a motion that we pay for this bill the same way in both departments. If they have it in their IT budget, they have to pay for it. Is that a fact?
I've always thought that internet service, which we use at town hall.
I thought it was funded
I've
through the
never seen a
state.
bill in Stony Hill for the CEN network.
I thought it was funded through the state.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah.
I think the
I never
town
saw a
pays
bill
something,
for it.
but I I never,
They do
I
pay
was just-
some.
Well, let's see if that.
Where do the bills go?
IT.
There must be bills
As far as I
somewhere.
know, there never was a bill. It was funded through the state.
But in researching this, I was told that there is a charge. The same amount in that they put in the past, because nobody can give me a defense.
It means you won't hold tomorrow. so
Right.
You put the same amount that who put in the past.
And
It's never been in the past.
Who's making the call tomorrow, Tom? You?
Yeah, I'll have Jack call and find out from them what, there's a bill them up,
Okay.
for the firehouses, for the,
There's, past.
that's the state fiber network.
Yeah, we've been,
That-
Apple's been paying the whole bill.
You watch, it's gonna splash back on you suddenly, you're gonna get
Like I said, I was chief when they first put that system in, and I was always under the impression that this was a state-funded program.
I was just shocked to see that, but
right, and that was put in like 2012.
Yeah.
When
Something
when
like
did we
that.
tap into that? 2018?
it wasn't many years later, yeah.
Yeah, it was a long time after that.
So-
Save $1,500.
I will make a motion, a conditional motion. The motion is that if Tom finds out that this should not be in the budget, we will remove it and submit without it. If it goes the other way, we leave it just the way it is.
And we second that conditionally.
Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. That'll give us the flexibility to at least adjust it and submit it based on the findings.
I'll remind you.
So I'm still confused as to why we're paying for Comcast.
Go. Go to executive session.
No.
It would not be good. Come see me tomorrow morning.
Any further discussion?
Yeah,
What do you got?
how many members do you have? Give or take.
75.
How many members do you have? Why is he asking for 19,000 for physicals and you're only asking for 15? You have more members.
We have of that 100, there were approximately 36 that got physicals in the last 14 months. I don't have to pay for it. That's why there's a reduction.
Okay.
They just had it this past year. And I'm banking on the fact that that's gonna work. It should. They're all less. I said 14 months. There's 2 over 12 months. So I don't have to do them. So I have less expenditure.
Okay,
That's good.
Yeah.
just had to make my
No,
mind
I-
compute that.
I-
It seemed like you had a bigger number of people, then you should have a bigger number of dollars.
We have a substantial number that got it this past year. Don't have to, repeat. And they were looking at it based on a calendar year. But we also went to bid on it. Yes.
All right.
Spectacular, I guess.
Any other further discussion?
Please end as we have a fire call.
All right. Motion to adjourn? All in favor? Aye.